Welcome to the channel, Top Coin, where history and hidden treasures collide. Today we embark on a journey into the world of a humble piece of copper that tells the story of a nation's transformation. I invite you to lean in, imagine the clink of coins in an old leather pouch, and settle into the fascinating tale of the 1971 United Kingdom 1p coin. Prepare to uncover its origins, design marvels, surprising rarities, and the secret reasons why collectors and enthusiasts pay premium prices for certain specimens. This is not just a coin, it is a symbol of change, a relic of an era, and for some lucky individuals, a source of unexpected wealth. Introduction to a momentous year. Picture Great Britain in the late 1960s. The world around it was shifting rapidly. Television sets glowed in households across the land. Music from London clubs echoed through radio speakers. Yet, everyday transactions were still conducted in an age-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, a system that had endured for centuries. Then came 1971, a year that would redefine currency in the United Kingdom forever. The nation embarked on a monumental project known as decimalization, replacing the old coinage system with a simpler, modern structure. At the heart of that transformation lay the introduction of new decimal coins, including the 1p piece. Introducing the 1p coin of 1971 early months of that year, mint workers at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, toiled to strike nearly 600 million 1p coins. These coins measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighed 3.56 grams. They featured a new copper plate composition comprised of steel core coated with bronze plating. Unlike their pre-decimal counterparts that dated back decades, these new pennies bore a design that was modern yet unmistakably British in character. On one side, the young Queen Elizabeth II looked outward under a crown emblem, her portrait created by the talented Ian Rank-Broadley. On the reverse, a humble yet charming depiction of a portcullis crowned with chains provided a nod to the iconic architectural features of the Palace of Westminster. Let us delve deeper into the symbolism encoded in this modest disc of metal. The obverse side carried the inscription, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fd, signifying the Queen by the grace of God, a title steeped in tradition. Her youthful visage stared confidently towards the future, a reflection of a nation embracing change while holding fast to monarchy and heritage. Flip that coin, and the reverse side introduced viewers to a stylized portcullis 5-barred, a historic gate representing the strength and stability of Parliament and the British constitutional system. The abstraction of the portcullis design also served a practical purpose. With so many coins in circulation, mint officials wanted an instantly recognizable emblem that would differentiate the penny from the halfpenny and other new issues. The chains above the portcullis hinted at an unbreakable bond between people and their government. Though some might consider it a small and unassuming design, collectors know that every curve and line can mean the difference between a common coin and a sought-after treasure. Mintage figures and production in the grand scheme of things, the 1971 1p coin was minted by the hundreds of millions. Official records indicate that nearly 600 million pennies rolled off the presses that year. This enormous production run ensured that pennies were plentiful in pockets and purses nationwide almost overnight. Some of these coins received a protective finish known as proof strike, reserved for collectors and presented in special presentation packs. The majority, however, were destined to jingle among the daily commerce of a decimalizing nation. Year number of coins produced 1971 approximately 600,000. Note that while production numbers for proof sets are smaller, they still numbered in the tens of thousands. These proof versions often exhibit a mirror-like background with frosted design details, a feature that entices serious collectors. The decimalization context. If we rewind to early 1971, British households made the final preparations for Decimal Day, which officially occurred on February 15. Shops and banks communicated conversion tables for shillings and pence. Families exchanged old pennies, 3p coins, and half-crowns for the new decimal currency. 11 coins circulated at first, ranging from the halfpenny to the 50p. Amid all this change, the 1p coin gained an immediate role. Worth 1/100 of a pound, it replaced the old penny almost seamlessly for day-to-day transactions. Yet, its debut was more than equipment in the monetary overhaul. It represented the transition from a centuries-old system to one tied to powers of 10, echoing continental partners and simplifying calculations for a modern economy. Stories from the streets. How the penny entered everyday life. Imagine walking along a cobblestone street in Birmingham in early 1971, clutching a purse bulging with coins familiar since childhood. Shopkeepers exchanged waved hands, counting down old pennies and handing back gleaming new decimal pieces. The 1 penny quickly became the pocket companion of bus drivers, milkmen, and theater ushers. For children, jingle jars began to fill with new pennies instead of pre-decimal threepence coins. Those pennies carried limitless possibilities: a piece of candy after school, another shot on the pinball machine, or a small sunken treasure in a piggy bank. Over time, as wallets and coin jars overflowed, surplus pennies accumulated in cupboards and drawers. Some found their way to new collectors, hobbyists, and opportunistic treasure hunters scouring old coin rolls at face value banks and coin shops. Those who kept an eye on the market discovered rare era coins or pennies in pristine uncirculated condition commanding surprisingly high prices. Era varieties and rare strikes. Now let's talk about era coins, the misfits rolled into circulation by the thousands but driven to fame by their anomalies. During the early production run of the 1971 penny, minting errors surfaced in a small fraction of coins, making them real treasures for numismatists. Among the most coveted are double strike errors, where a coin passed through the press twice and shows overlapping images of the Queen or the portcullis. Such coins can command several £100 or more depending on the clarity and rarity of the doubling. Equally fascinating are off-center strikes where the design does not sit perfectly on the coin's planchet. Slight misalignments may be worth a modest premium, but significant off-center strikes can fetch several hundred in auctions. Another intriguing error involves coins struck on the wrong planchet. Though exceedingly rare, a coin struck on a planchet intended for a 5-pence piece can be worth thousands. Some individuals have discovered pennies with incomplete inscriptions, defective edges, or missing milling on the rim. Conditions range from minute and nearly unnoticeable to dramatic and unmistakable. Every variation becomes a story of a single moment in a bustling mint where millions of coins pressed by machinery sometimes revealed imperfections too perfect to ignore. Key types of era coins. Type of era description. Value range: double strike, 2 full or partial images overlaying each other, £100 to £500. Off center strike, design displaced from center, £50 to £200 depending on severity. Wrong planchet strike on a planchet intended for a different denomination, up to several £1,000s in rare cases. Incomplete inscription, missing or incomplete lettering or design, £100 to £1,000 depending on severity. Keep these numbers in mind because every dealer and auction house may price era coins differently. The appeal lies not just in monetary value but in the thrill of owning something uniquely flawed. A snapshot of minting history. Mint marks and proof versus circulation strikes. In 1971 there was no mint mark denoting a particular facility because virtually all pennies were produced at Lantricent. However, proof coins bear distinguishing qualities. They were struck multiple times with specially polished dies, resulting in a frosted design that pops against a mirror-like background. These coins were made available in official mint-issued presentation sets. A 1971 proof penny can exceed £100 when graded by a reputable service and preserved in its original packaging. Proof pennies condition: approximate value. Ungraded proof set coin, £40 to £60, graded PF 67 or higher, £100 to £150. Remember that condition matters above all. A proof penny marred by scratches or contact marks loses significant value. Collectors covet pristine specimens that retain a brilliant surface and crisp design details. Speaking of condition, let us explore coin grading. In the numismatic world, grading scales range from poor all the way to mint state, 65 through 70, MS 65, MS 70. A penny in average circulated condition may fetch only face value or slightly above. But an uncirculated coin graded MS 63 can command several tens of pounds. Imagine finding a 1971 penny today that looks untouched by pocket friction or copper discoloration. That specimen might sell for 50, 70, or more instant pounds to the right buyer. A coin with brilliant original color, and no contact marks graded MS67 or higher could astonish you with a 4-figure price tag. Of course, such examples are extremely rare. To preserve and potentially upgrade a penny's value, collectors employ special holders called flips and capsules. These acid-free enclosures protect coins from moisture, fingerprints, and accidental scratches. Some enthusiasts opt for higher security by sending coins to independent professio, where we dig deep into the hidden value of everyday coins that you just might have lying around in your pocket, purse, or even an old dusty drawer. And today, we've got a real sleeper for you, the humble, unassuming 1981 United Kingdom 1p coin. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? But hold on, what if I told you that this little copper coin, often overlooked and forgotten, could actually be worth more than you think? In fact, some collectors and dealers are paying well above face value, and in some cases, way more, for certain conditions and varieties of this coin. So stick around because we're about to explore the fascinating story, historical context, and current market value of the 1981 1p coin. You might just discover you've got a hidden gem in your collection. Let's dive right in. To understand why this coin matters, we need to rewind a little bit. The 1p coin is part of the decimal coinage system introduced in the UK on February 15, 1971, a major monetary reform known as Decimal Day. Before this, British currency was based on pounds, shillings, and pence, a system dating back centuries. With decimalization, things became much simpler. 100 new pence to the pound. The 1p coin was one of the original coins introduced during this transition. It was small, copper-plated, and designed for everyday use. The version minted in 1981 is particularly interesting because it falls within an era of transition. Though it may seem common, the 1981 1p coin represents more than just pocket change. It's a piece of modern British history. So what does the 1981 1p coin look like? On the obverse, or front, you'll find the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the second crowned head facing right. This design was created by Arnold Machin, and it's known for its elegance and simplicity. You'll also see the words, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1981, which is Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Now flip it over, and the reverse side features a stylized crown portcullis, a design that was historically associated with the Palace of Westminster. The word 1 penny circles the top, and the denomination 1 sits neatly below the portcullis. It's a beautiful coin in its own way, modest, yes, but unmistakably British, and rich with symbolism. Let's talk about how rare, or common, this coin is. In 1981, the Royal Mint produced 729,742,000 of these 1p coins for circulation. Yes, you heard that right, over 729 million coins. So on the surface, this might not seem like a rare coin at all. In fact, most of these would have passed through hands millions of times in shops, pubs, and markets all over the UK. But rarity doesn't just come from how many were made. It also comes from how many have survived in excellent condition, and this is where the story starts to get interesting. Okay, here's the question you've been waiting for. How much is the 1981 1p coin actually worth today? Well, if you've got a circulated version, one that's been used, a bit worn down, not in pristine shape, it's usually still worth just face value. Maybe a few pence to a collector. But if you've got one in uncirculated or mint condition, now you're talking. Coins that are uncirculated, with sharp detail, no scratches, and a brilliant finish can sell for £1 to £5, sometimes even £10 or more depending on quality. That's 1,000 times face value in some cases. Even more valuable are coins graded by professional services, like NGC or PCGS, especially if they've been given a high grade like MS65 or higher. These can fetch between £10 and £50, and sometimes even more if the coin is perfect and slabbed. Also, look out for proof coins. These were specially struck for collectors and have a mirror-like finish. They were never meant to circulate. A 1981 proof 1p in perfect condition can sell for £15 to £30 or higher, especially if it's part of a full year set. Here's where things get really fun. There are rumors, and verified reports, of certain error coins or off-metal strikes from the early 1980s. These are coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong metal blanks or with minting mistakes like double strikes, clipped edges, or off-center printing. While these are incredibly rare, if you've got one, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds depending on the type of error and its condition. So check your coin. Look for anything unusual, strange shapes, missing lettering, extra lines, or color variations. These oddities can mean big money. The coin collecting market has seen a resurgence in recent years. More and more people are getting into numismatics, especially younger collectors and investors who see coins as a blend of history, art, and financial opportunity. As a result, values for older and well-preserved decimal coins are slowly rising. The 1981 1p is still relatively affordable, but in top condition or with errors, it is steadily climbing in value. Plus, with the decline of copper coin usage in the UK and discussions about phasing out small denominations altogether, coins like the 1981 penny may become harder to find and more desirable in the years to come. If you think you've got a valuable 1981 1p coin, your best bet is to have it professionally appraised or submit it to a grading company. You can also check recent sales on eBay, UK coin auctions, or specialist sites like Coincraft or the Royal Mint Experience. Make sure you photograph the coin clearly, both sides, and describe its condition accurately. Collectors love detailed listings and transparency. So there you have it, the 1981 United Kingdom 1p coin. From its historical significance in the decimal revolution to its collector appeal and hidden value, it's far more than just spare change. If you've got one, take a closer look. If it's in great shape, or has a mysterious error, it could be worth far more than its tiny face value. Sometimes the most ordinary things turn out to be the most extraordinary. Your number one destination for rare coins, hidden treasures, and incredible numismatic stories. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because you won't want to miss what we're about to reveal about this fascinating coin. To understand the value of the 1988 1p coin, we have to go back to the beginning, the origins of the decimal penny in the UK. Decimalisation came into effect in 1971, when the United Kingdom switched from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a simpler decimal system. The 1p coin became part of everyday life, minted in copper-plated bronze, and made to be durable, practical, and distinctly British. Over the years, the 1p coin underwent changes in composition and design. But the version minted in 1988 holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Why? Well, let's get into it. The 1988 1p coin may look similar to other pennies at first glance, a crown portcullis design on the reverse and Queen Elizabeth II's effigy on the obverse. But the details matter. This coin features the Raphael Makhlouf portrait of Her Majesty, which was used between 1985 and 1997. This effigy is characterized by a more regal and mature image of the Queen, and it's one of the most respected and beloved designs used in British coinage. The reverse shows the crown portcullis, a symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster, signifying the strength and endurance of British government. Now let's talk numbers. In 1988, over 601 million 1p coins were minted for general circulation. That's a staggering number. But here's where things get interesting. Most of those coins were used, spent, scratched, and lost over time. High-quality versions of the 1988 1p coin, coins in mint or uncirculated condition, are getting rarer every year. Finding a 1988 1p coin in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. And the rarer the condition, the higher the value. That's what makes this tiny coin so desirable among collectors. Did you know that some 1988 1p coins were struck with minting errors? That's right. Error coins are a collector's dream. Some of the rarest varieties include misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and even double strikes. These errors were not meant to make it into circulation, but a few always managed to slip through the cracks. If you happen to own a 1988 1p coin with one of these errors, your coin could be worth 10, 20, or even over 100 times its face value. Some collectors are willing to pay well over £50 or more for unique errors, especially if the coin is graded and authenticated. So how much is your 1988 1p coin worth today? In average circulated condition, it's still worth 1 penny, just like you'd expect. But in uncirculated condition, or better yet, in a sealed-proof set, the value climbs significantly. Some examples in top condition have sold for £1 to £5. Error coins can fetch between £20 and £150, depending on the type and rarity of the error. And here's the kicker: the value of these coins is rising. As more collectors enter the hobby and search for coins from the 1980s and 1990s, demand is growing. The 1988 1p coin is no longer just a copper disc from your childhood, it's becoming a sought-after collectible. Alright, it's time to go treasure hunting. Here's what to look for in your change, old jars, or inherited collections. First, check the date. Make sure it says 1988. Then, examine the coin under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look for minting errors like doubling, misalignment, or unusual shapes. Finally, check the condition. Is the coin shiny, free from scratches, or showing original luster? If you suspect your coin might be valuable, consider having it graded by a professional grading service. A certified grade can dramatically increase the selling price and attract serious collectors. Thinking of selling or collecting more 1988 1p coins? Here are the best places to do it. Online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, and specialized coin auction sites are great for both buyers and sellers. Also, consider joining coin collector forums or visiting local coin fairs. You'll be amazed at what you can find and learn. Be sure to research recent sales and compare similar coins to determine a fair price. And don't forget to factor in things like grading, presentation, and provenance when setting a price. The 1988 1p coin from the United Kingdom may be small in size, but it packs a big punch in the world of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, this little copper coin represents history, artistry, and hidden value. Who knew that something so common could turn out to be such a gem? So, next time you're digging through the couch cushions, checking your change, or going through a relative's old coin jar, keep an eye out for that magical year, 1988. Your next lucky penny might be worth more than you ever imagined. To understand the value of the 1988 1p coin, we have to go back to the beginning, the origins of the decimal penny in the UK. Decimalisation came into effect in 1971, when the United Kingdom switched from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a simpler decimal system. The 1p coin became part of everyday life, minted in copper-plated bronze, and made to be durable, practical, and distinctly British. Over the years, the 1p coin underwent changes in composition and design. But the version minted in 1988 holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Why? Well, let's get into it. The 1988 1p coin may look similar to other pennies at first glance, a crown portcullis design on the reverse, and Queen Elizabeth II's effigy on the obverse. But the details matter. This coin features the Raphael Makhlouf portrait of Her Majesty, which was used between 1985 and 1997. This effigy is characterized by a more regal and mature image of the Queen, and it's one of the most respected and beloved designs used in British coinage. The reverse shows the crown portcullis, a symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster, signifying the strength and endurance of British government. Now let's talk numbers. In 1988, over 601 million 1p coins were minted for general circulation. That's a staggering number. But here's where things get interesting. Most of those coins were used, spent, scratched, and lost over time. High-quality versions of the 1988 1p coin, coins in mint or uncirculated condition, are getting rarer every year. Finding a 1988 1p coin in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. And the rarer the condition, the higher the value. That's what makes this tiny coin so desirable among collectors. Did you know that some 1988 1p coins were struck with minting errors? That's right. Error coins are a collector's dream. Some of the rarest varieties include misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and even double strikes. These errors were not meant to make it into circulation, but a few always managed to slip through the cracks. If you happen to own a 1988 1p coin with one of these errors, your coin could be worth 10, 20, or even over 100 times its face value. Some collectors are willing to pay well over £50 or more for unique errors, especially if the coin is graded and authenticated. So how much is your 1988 1p coin worth today? In average circulated condition, it's still worth 1 penny, just like you'd expect. But in uncirculated condition, or better yet, in a sealed-proof set, the value climbs significantly. Some examples in top condition have sold for £1 to £5. Error coins can fetch between £20 and £150, depending on the type and rarity of the error. And here's the kicker: the value of these coins is rising. As more collectors enter the hobby and search for coins from the 1980s and 1990s, demand is growing. The 1988 1p coin is no longer just a copper disc from your childhood, it's becoming a sought-after collectible. Alright, it's time to go treasure hunting. Here's what to look for in your change, old jars, or inherited collections. First, check the date. Make sure it says 1988. Then, examine the coin under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look for minting errors like doubling, misalignment, or unusual shapes. Finally, check the condition. Is the coin shiny, free from scratches, or showing original luster? If you suspect your coin might be valuable, consider having it graded by a professional grading service. A certified grade can dramatically increase the selling price and attract serious collectors. Thinking of selling or collecting more 1988 1p coins? Here are the best places to do it. Online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, and specialized coin auction sites are great for both buyers and sellers. Also, consider joining coin collector forums or visiting local coin fairs. You'll be amazed at what you can find and learn. Be sure to research recent sales and compare similar coins to determine a fair price. And don't forget to factor in things like grading, presentation, and provenance when setting a price. The 1988 1p coin from the United Kingdom may be small in size, but it packs a big punch in the world of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, this little copper coin represents history, artistry, and hidden value. Who knew that something so common could turn out to be such a gem? So, next time you're digging through the couch cushions, checking your change, or going through a relative's old coin jar, keep an eye out for that magical year, 1988. Your next lucky penny might be worth more than you ever imagined. If you've got an old piggy bank, a forgotten jar of change, or a coin collection gathering dust, then listen up, because today we're diving deep into the story of a very small coin with a very big tale. That's right, the 2003 1p coin from the United Kingdom. You might be thinking, 1p? That's basically worthless. But you'd be surprised how much value could be hiding behind its copper-plated surface. Some of these coins are fetching impressive prices on the collector's market. And it's not just about the money, it's about the rarity, the history, the tiny design details that most people overlook but collectors obsess over. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and stay with me to the very end, because you might just learn that the humble penny in your pocket is far more than small change. Let's get into it. First, let's take a walk back through time to understand the origins of the 1p coin. The 1p coin, or 1p, as it's commonly known, was introduced as part of the decimalisation of British currency in 1971. Prior to that, the UK used pounds, shillings, and pence in a much more complicated system. Fast forward to 2003, the year this particular coin was minted. Now, on the surface, the 2003 1p coin looks pretty standard. It's round, copper-plated steel, and has a diameter of 20.3 millimeters with a weight of 3.56 grams. But when we dig a little deeper, that's where the intrigue begins. The obverse side of the coin, that's the heads side, features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. It's the fourth official portrait used on UK coinage, and it's been in circulation since 1998. The reverse side, the tails, features the classic portcullis design. That's the gate with chains, originally used in the Palace of Westminster, representing British democracy and history. The word 1 penny arches along the top, and the number 1 anchors the design at the bottom. Seems pretty normal, right? Well, not so fast. Now let's talk rarity. In 2003, the Royal Mint produced a large quantity of these coins for general circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Although the official mintage figure for the 2003 1p coin is quite high, over 600 million, a tiny number of these coins have quirks that make them highly collectible. Collectors have discovered minting errors, die misalignments, and other anomalies on 2003 1p coins that drive up their value on the secondary market. These can include double strikes, off-center stamps, coins without a visible date, or unusual metal toning. Even more exciting are proof versions of the coin. These were never meant for general circulation and were minted in smaller batches with extra care and detail. Proof coins are shinier, more defined, and often struck multiple times to create a crisper image. If you come across a proof 2003 1p coin, especially in mint condition, you're sitting on something far more valuable than face value. And let's not forget that condition matters. Coins graded as brilliant uncirculated, or mint state, by professional grading services can be worth many times their normal value, especially when collectors are searching for pristine examples to complete their sets. Okay, so what's the bottom line? What can a 2003 1p coin actually sell for? Well, let's start with the basics. If you've got an ordinary, circulated coin with no visible errors or unique features, its value is going to stay close to face value, maybe a few pence more if it's in decent condition and you find the right buyer. These are common coins, after all. But, and this is a big but, if you've got a proof version, an uncirculated piece, or a coin with a known minting error, the value jumps significantly. As of now, error 1p coins from 2003 have been listed on auction sites like eBay and coin collector forums for £10, £20, and even up to £50 or more, depending on the error and condition. Proof coins in their original packaging or as part of a mint set can go for £10 to £25 or higher, especially if graded professionally. It all depends on scarcity, condition, and demand. And demand is growing. More people than ever are getting into coin collecting, not just as a hobby, but as an investment. That means the market is active and constantly changing. So now you're probably wondering, how do I check my own 2003 1p coin to see if it's rare or valuable? Here's a quick checklist to guide you. Date check. Make sure the coin is indeed from 2003. It should say so clearly on the obverse side, near Queen Elizabeth II's image. Condition. Is the coin scratched, dirty, or worn out? Or is it shiny and crisp, like it just left the mint? The better the condition, the higher the value. Error hunt. Look closely for anything unusual. Are the letters off-center? Is there a double strike? Missing date? Weird metal coloring or texture? Use a magnifying glass if you have to. Magnet test. The 2003 version should be copper-plated steel, meaning it should be magnetic. If it isn't, you may have something very unusual, possibly a misstrike on the wrong blank. Compare online. Look up sold listings on collector websites or eBay. Don't just look at asking prices, check what people actually paid. That tells you the real market value. So there you have it. The 2003 1p coin from the United Kingdom, a tiny piece of metal that carries a load of history, potential value, and collecting excitement. It might just be sitting at the bottom of a drawer, or stuck in a coin jar you haven't touched in years, or passed around unnoticed in your spare change. But now you know what to look for. Coins like these are more than currency, they're miniature time machines. They connect us to the year they were made, the people who used them, the mints that produced them, and the stories they carry. Every scratch, every shine, every imperfection tells a story. So go ahead, check your change. You never know. That 1p coin in your hand might be worth a lot more than you think. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin deep dives, and drop a comment below if you found any interesting coins in your collection. I read every comment, and I love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of coins, even the smallest ones can lead to the biggest discoveries. Until next time, happy collecting!